Sweet. Lindsay Adamson is the lifestyle millionaire. She is an international speaker, life strategist, success coach, and author. She grew up in Toronto, Canada, and from a very young age has been a huge goal setter. An incredibly strong sense of ambition and an obsession with her vision have taken her to amazing heights in her life and career. Lindsay's hunger for growth and need for achievement have brought her down some amazing paths in her life and have led her to her greatest passion, to help others reach their full potential and attain the life that they have always dreamed of. It is Lindsay's vision to show thousands and thousands of people around the world that they do not need to choose between living the life of their dreams and pursuing wealth and achievement. You don't have to choose between either or. You can have both. It is from living on both ends of the spectrum in her own life that she came to a major realization. The greatest life is one that is lived where your business and career are designed around the life that you wish to live. Envisioning the ideal life and building the business to match the lifestyle is where the Lifestyle Millionaire Inc. was born. Lindsay Adamson is the founder of the Lifestyle Millionaire Inc., a company dedicated to providing life-changing personal development tools and training for individuals who are looking to take their lives to the next level. Lindsay specializes in helping you discover your true passion and provides you the steps needed in order to turn that passion into a very profitable business. She has inspired individuals from all over the world to step into their greatness and start making powerful changes in their lives that will lead them to their ultimate picture of successful living. Using a combination of powerful vision planning techniques, mindset training tools, individualized life strategies, and business development training, Lindsay will help you create massive success and the lifestyle of your dreams. Lindsay, are you ready to come on the screen? Awesome. You are now live, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come out here, deliver massive value for our audience, and join me on my birthday.
Happy birthday! I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm so excited because you are all about the Heartfire. I'm Mr. Heartfire, and this is going to be so great. So let's start diving into a little bit more about your journey, about how you got to where you are today, so our audience can connect with you, get to know you a little bit better. If you want to share some of the challenges so they can know you're human too, that would be super awesome.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I just first of all want to say a big hey to everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm so excited to be on here talking to you, Chris, and all of you guys at home. It is so exciting. I've been watching for a while, and I hadn't been on yet, and I was a little bit jealous, so I was pretty excited when you invited me. So I am from Toronto. I'm here right now, but I'm not actually here that often because I love to travel the world, and you never really know where I'm going to end up next. But I went to university in Toronto and at York University. And when I was there, that was when I had like my first career, and I dove into the sales game, and that was where I was learning how important it is to visualize and really envision what you want for your life. And that was kind of where the journey started for me. I worked at a really intense company where we worked 7 days a week, 18-hour days. So while I was in university, I started out just doing it on the weekends and summer vacations. And that brought me all over Canada. And it was when I started to discover that I loved coaching and speaking because my boss had me up front of the room every morning speaking to everyone in the room, 50 to 100 people in our morning sales trainings. Because I had never done sales before, but I picked it up really quickly and I ended up being quite good at it. But from the outside looking in, I was this crazy superstar who just picked it up and figured out how to do it. But in my own head, every single day, I was a ball of nerves getting dropped off. It was door-to-door sales. And just thinking, today is the day I'm going to fall on my face and get no sales and come back and everyone's going to laugh at me. I literally thought that every single morning.
Wow.
And that was actually part of what drove me to do so well. And that was when visualization started to come into play. I would get dropped off on a street and I would have to sit there or stand there and give myself a pep talk. And I would look at all the houses. And I would start to visualize the people that would come to the door when I knocked on it.
Wow.
And I would picture friendly people who would listen to me. And I would picture myself running all day long. And back then when we got a sale, we put a little flag in the lawn. So I would picture the street full of flags. Just small little visualizations like that taught me the important lessons that now I coach people on today.
So I'm curious, real quick.
Then,
did you use visualization before that point, or did you learn that through your sales training, or how did you come to start doing that?
The cool thing with me is that I tend to do things and then become conscious of myself doing them later.
Wow. Yeah.
So when I've done a ton of reading and self-development, practicing, coaching, seminars, conferences. You and I were talking about this the other day. But most of the stuff that I learn, I actually intuitively already know.
Wow.
And when I go to these conferences or seminars, it's like remembering or realizing why I've been doing certain things. Yes. So I feel really blessed that through life experience that I've learned a lot of these. I did have a boss at the time who was really into self-development training, so he taught us a lot of goal setting techniques and stuff like that. And that was kind of what lit my ambitious fire and taught me that I was an ambitious, competitive person. But that job was a real love-hate relationship because I had to sacrifice everything in my life, and I was either higher than high or lower than low because, you know, sales is an emotional process. You know, some days you're killing it, other days you're struggling. And I was literally just kind of burning at the fumes because we would just work ourselves into the ground. And I loved it, but it wasn't sustainable. And I was pretty young back then, so I could keep up with it. But there came a time that I decided to walk away, even though I was making crazy money and everyone thought I was crazy. And I bought a one-way ticket to Costa Rica the very next day after I quit my job.
Wow.
And it was this wild ride. I felt more free than I had ever felt in my life. I was going on adventures in the rainforest. I adopted a dog that fit in my bike basket, which I didn't even know was one of my dreams, but it was. I was swinging from vines, swimming in waterfalls, like riding in the back of pickup trucks, riding on motorcycles, zip lining, all these crazy things that I hadn't had time to ever do because I was always working or in school. And it was just absolutely amazing. But I stayed for 2 years. And after about a year, I started this amazing business. I started my own yoga studio and retreat center. And it was my first taste of entrepreneurship. And it was kind of a harsh lesson because I had these very unrealistic expectations that if I was just positive and thought good thoughts, that would be enough to bring in all the customers that I needed. And
how'd that work out?
So for my very first retreat, I only had one customer.
Wow.
And I still showed her a great time, and it was fun, and it worked out well. But I learned a lot of lessons and I made a lot of mistakes that I don't have to make now because reality kind of set in, you know. But there came a time living in Costa Rica where I started to get into a real hard time. I spent about 6 to 8 months super depressed, living in this absolute paradise, but not being able to leave my room, watching Netflix all day, just totally lost sight of my vision and my purpose. And I couldn't force myself to go out and do anything. And I lived in this most amazing little town where there was always something going on and there was always some incredible person to hang out with, but I never left the house. I would go to the gym every morning. That was like the one thing I pushed myself to do. And then I would take the dogs for a walk a couple times a day, but I just totally lost sight of my vision. I was really, really stuck. And I fought like hell to get out of it. I didn't just accept it. I tried about 17 different things. I tried hypnosis, therapy, meditation, yoga, hiking, anything, you name it. I tried it. And it was through that exploration that somehow I came out the other side. But it was a big lesson as to why it's so important to have a vision. And that was why I was so passionate about speaking with you guys about that today. Because now I'm back in Toronto, my vision is very clear and very strong. And by the way, it's laser vision. And I just want to share that with people because everyone goes through those times when they lose sight of what they want and what they were put on this earth for. And it's so easy to get into that slump. And the longer you're in it, the longer you tend to stay in it because you get comfortable in it and you don't know how to get out. And so if we can take the time to define a really clear vision and continuously remind ourselves of it, then we can just flow with the momentum instead of going up and down all the time like we tend to do in life if we're not super conscious.
And I also want to hear, because I know you were in Costa Rica, right? And you were around people who maybe didn't have such a big vision for their life. In fact, maybe no vision. They were like very content with how things were. And then also there's people around us, social media, who we're connected with, who don't have a vision either, but they want more. And it creates this like kind of anxious anxiety feeling, right? So you didn't want to be around those people really who didn't have much going on, but they were kind of content with that. And whenever you would attempt to like, you know, inspire them to greatness, maybe they didn't really want to. And then there's the other side of people who like want more, but they don't have a strong vision. And they just like feel this anxious feeling. So I'm curious what you have to say about that.
Well, it's not completely the case that you just said.
Okay.
First of all, I met some of the most incredible people I've ever met in my entire life in Costa Rica. I live on a town where pretty much all the world's greatest people just happen to end up. Okay. But the thing is that a lot of them were in a position in their lives where they wanted a year or two or even a retirement of just enjoying life and not trying to attain any higher level, but just learning to be and just learning to surrender and release and just enjoy. And I totally don't look down on that at all because, you know, there's a time and place for that. And I am so happy for them that they were able to just enjoy just being. But the problem was that I tried to force myself to be okay with that type of lifestyle, and that's not who I am. I am a very driven and ambitious person, and I left my job because I was working myself into the ground and only focusing on money, and I wanted to see what more life had to offer. But I didn't actually want to give up that part of myself. I just wanted to have a balance of all the different parts of myself. And so for me, spending time around people who encouraged me to learn to just be okay with doing nothing wasn't healthy for me because I need to be around people who are on a similar path, and I wasn't ready to retire yet. Even though I moved there, I thought I was.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for the clarity. So in terms of building a vision, which I think a lot of people are lacking these days, which is creating that anxiousness, what do we need to know?
Okay, awesome. The first thing that I want to say, and I will say it to anyone who comes and speaks to me about vision, and it is the stupidest and most simple, basic thing, but it is so important. I tell everybody, you need to take a little bit of time by yourself, with no phone, computer, or TV, and just a piece of paper and a pen for about, an hour or however much time you can spare, whether it's 15 minutes or 12 hours. I feel like if you did this, you might do it for 12 hours.
Yeah, all day.
But just start writing. It doesn't matter if it sounds stupid. It doesn't matter if it sounds weird or crazy or boring or amazing. Whatever it is, just start writing down your ideas, your thoughts, your goals, and just anything that you can think of that you want. And at this stage of the game, you don't need to have a super clear picture. Okay. It can be completely random bullet points that don't correlate with each other at all. But just write anything and everything that comes to your mind on the piece of paper. Because people who think things but don't write them down often are the people who talk but don't act. And if you really want these things for your life, you need to take the first step and write them down. Because how often on people's deathbeds do they have ideas that have been swirling around their head for 40, 50, 80 years, and they've never implemented them, and then they look back with regret? And so no matter whether you have $1 in your bank account or $1 million in your bank account, no matter how much these goals or ideas may cost you in money or time, the first step is just writing them down. And then later, we can go through a process of organizing those thoughts and looking at them and saying, okay, what needs to be changed, eliminated, or organized? Which ideas can I implement the most quickly or easily that I can do right now and make a big bang or a big impact? What can I do right away to just start taking action? So often people get stuck because they look at 50 steps ahead of them and they feel overwhelmed, so they don't ever take the first step. And so it's an important distinction to write those ideas down and then organize them into the highest, medium, and lowest priority so that you can start attacking those high priority items first and set them in your time period, in your schedule, in your calendar, or whatever app you use these days to organize your time, and start visualizing the outcomes that you would have as if you've already achieved these things.
Wow.
And then I like to take it 2 steps further and write the entire thing down, all those bullet points, but write it in a cohesive kind of story in the present tense as if it's already happened. So say, for example, your goals are to lose 20 pounds, to get promoted at your job, and to meet the love of your life. So I would say, I've lost 20 pounds and I feel more incredible than ever. In fact, I feel so good that everyone noticed and I just got an amazing promotion at work. Well, because of this amazing energy I'm giving off, I attracted the love of my life and I'm happier than I've ever been.
Wow.
You know, some type of story like that. The more often you read it, the more powerful it is to attract it.
Wow.
And then the second step further would be to make a vision board, which if you like, at the end of this call, I'll bring you into my room and show you my vision board. But it's pretty sparkly and colorful.
Let's see the layer, Lindsay's layer of awesomeness and sparkly stuff.
So I put it right in front of, on the wall, right in front of my bed, so that every single morning it's the first thing I see when I wake up. Cool. I have a vision board and I have a chalkboard. And on the chalkboard, I write something really inspiring or a really big goal or a set of goals that I am about to achieve. And I have that vision board and they complement each other because the goals are the stepping stones to achieving the vision.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And then if you want to take it even one step further, this goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about with the environment in Costa Rica. I read this amazing book earlier this year, and I will tell you the name of it when I can remember it. But I learned about this concept called vision keepers. Now, vision keepers are your support system, but it goes way farther than a circle of influence. It's 2 to 5 people in your life that you completely sell on your vision. So once you've written it all down and made it into that story or even your vision board, you either call that person or you get together with them person to person, or you write them a letter of commitment. And you completely share with them your entire vision, and only pick people that you know will be in your life for the next 10 years. Please don't pick someone you just started dating like 2 weeks ago, okay? But, you know, pick people that you know will hold you accountable and tell you the things that you need to hear, not people that will be all nice to you and let you get away with slacking on your goals. Now, these vision keepers have a really important job for 2 reasons. One, because when they're so sold on your vision, when they start visualizing it, the power of attraction is so much stronger because there's multiple people visualizing the outcome that's desired. And the power of attraction is that much stronger because you're not alone. The second thing is that, like I mentioned earlier, we all go through periods of times where we lose sight of our vision for whatever reason, whether there's a death in the family or whether we are just in a slump or whether our, I don't know. But everybody goes through it. You're not human unless you've gone through a slump at some point in your life. Right. And the job of these vision keepers is to resell you on your own vision.
Wow. So you get on a call with them and you're like, hey, tell me what my vision is.
But the thing is, you don't even have to ask that. You just call them and say, Chris, I'm having a really hard time right now. I'm feeling really depressed and I've just lost sight of things. I've stopped believing in myself and I just don't see the results coming. And then you would say, Lindsay, think about your vision. You're da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da and we're going to do da-da-da-da-da. And, it might not help that very instant, but knowing that you're there reminding me of my vision and that you care enough to do so is the first step to feeling better. But to have you continue to visualize it for me while I can't necessarily do it for myself, it continues to activate that power of attraction. It's a really important thing to consider. And I know the path of entrepreneurship can kind of sometimes be a very lonely one, and we don't always have people that are physically in our geographic location that can be those vision keepers for us. And that's where building these connections with like-minded people, no matter whether they're in your city or all the way across the world, if they're there for you, they're there for you. They don't have to be physically there for you.
Yes, this is awesome. Awesome. I've never even heard of this, and it makes total sense, and I love it. And something I do on my end is share the vision with as many people as I possibly can who believe, who are open to hearing it, who are willing to support me. I don't just say it to the haters because they're just gonna talk shit, and I'm like, I don't want to waste my energy on.
Who would hate you?
Right. So I share it with as many people as possible, because it plants a seed of greatness, of what I'm up to in their mind. And regardless of whether or not they ever think about it again, it affected their subconscious, because my energy transmission into them affected their subconscious, and my vision that I created lives on with them, through them. And even more powerful is having these vision keepers who are there to hold us accountable to that vision. I love that. And I also want to do a couple other things because there's lots of comments coming through. We have Rusdi and Shamika commenting, say, yeah, vision boards, sparkles are awesome. Sandra says, hey, Chris and Lindsay, letter of commitment, remember my vision. air support. Cameron Phillips says, awesome broadcast. We have a lot of people who are loving this. And by the way, if you are tuning in and you're enjoying this, make sure that you do share this video so that you can get entered in to a drawing to win $50 to Amazon. Tonight, we'll be announcing those winners. And oh, I thought you were going to take us into your room. I was like, oh, that was earlier than expected. It's all perfect.
Sorry,
perfect.
my phone fell over.
All perfect. So make sure that you do share. And if you're enjoying this, I want you to type in Lindsay as well, Lindsay, because she is rocking the house, sharing some incredible value that, honestly, I've never heard of, and I think most people haven't either. So this is awesome.
If you guys are feeling it, I want you to type laser vision with a fire sign.
Ooh, laser vision with a fire sign. Yes, do that right now. I'm going to do it too. I'm feeling this, so I'm going to type it. Shoot. Beautiful. So what else do we need to know about laser vision, Lindsay?
Well, I want to talk to you guys about what to do when you lose sight of your vision. Okay. Because I'm sure you'll agree that when you're super motivated and you already have the laser vision, it's so easy to do whatever you want. I mean, you could take on the things you're the most scared of, like Superman or Superwoman or Wonder Woman, whoever's in that new movie. But then there's times when you lose sight of that vision. Maybe you're changing and growing, or maybe you just need some help. And those are the times when it's harder to actually physically do the things that will make you feel better. Because it's almost like I think of it like quicksand. You're trying to get out, but you just keep getting pulled back in. Once you're out, you're rocking. You can run a marathon. Yeah. But when you're in there, you need some help. So what do we do when we lose sight of our vision? The best advice that I can give you is to just start trying new things. Because we can sometimes get in these ruts where we feel like we've tried everything and we convince ourselves that we've tried everything. Chances are we've only actually tried like 2 or 3 things, but to us, it feels like everything.
Yes.
And we can get really stuck. And so these are the times when you may have to force yourself, I'm just going to say it right then, to pick up that converter and turn Netflix off. But I would say pick a handful of things that you've never tried, but you've thought of trying throughout the years, but you've been pretty content with your life, so you've never tried them. So whether it's trying a new dance class or joining a yoga class in the park, or going to stand-up comedy, or, CrossFit, or whatever it may be that you've always wanted to try, skydiving, bungee jumping, hiking up a mountain, whatever it is, try new things. Because what that does is it gets that brain away from thinking, oh, I suck. Nothing I'm trying to do is working. I don't know what to do anymore. Like you're having your own pity party. You're on this hamster wheel, right? It gets you off of it temporarily and just try new things. Because when you're in a rut, you tend to want to spend a lot of time by yourself doing nothing. And it doesn't do anything for you. And what trying new things will do is give you new ideas and connect you with new people that might inspire you, that might make you smile, that might get your head temporarily off thinking about what sucks and thinking about what you're grateful for and what's fun. Another thing that you can do is spend time in nature. Because being in nature, it surrounds you with this really impactful energy. And if you can spend time in nature in the quiet and not bring your phone and just sit there and listen, a lot of the times when we're the quietest, we hear the most impactful, loud messages about what we need to do next. And then the last thing I would say on that regard is write a to-do list. Because I find when I get stuck the most, it's when I have a lot of daunting tasks that seem really scary to me that I've put off for a little bit too long. and it's almost like this dark rain cloud hanging over me.
Yes.
And if I were to actually just do the task, it's not that scary at all. And once I've finished it, I feel so proud of myself. If you can relate to this, let me know in the comments. But write a to-do list and force yourself to do one thing per day. You've got 24 hours in the day. Force yourself to do one. Because the truth is, what I firmly believe is that progress is the key to happiness. And it's when we feel like we're not progressing that we get in a rut and we get stuck in that quicksand. And so just to feel proud of ourselves for one task per day, no matter how small or huge it is, we'll start to get that ball rolling. And before you know it, it's going to be a freaking massive snowball just rolling down a mountain. And then you're going to knock everything out of the park and just kill it again.
I love how inspiring and motivating you are. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Wow. Wow. This is great. So, again, if you guys are loving this out there, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Lindsay is dropping some fire. So put in some fire emojis in the comments because this is gold. And also, Lindsay, what I heard is that if we celebrate the smallest things, it'll start building up momentum. It'll start giving us the confidence back that we may have this dark cloud or all these different things to do, and we write down a to-do list. That's an accomplishment in itself. Just getting things out of your head and onto paper, it's like, great. Now it's like I can see what's here, and I can actually, prioritize, put it into my schedule, assess how much time might it actually take to do these things, and get back on track with our vision. Yes.
Very true.
Beautiful.
Now, I love celebrating the small steps that get you to a big goal. Don't spend too much time celebrating because then you will lose sight of what's next, which is part of our vision. So there's a fine line there, but definitely acknowledge your accomplishments, feel proud of yourself, and then keep on your vision for what's next.
Wow. So do you feel like too many people real quick, do you feel like people get caught up
go ahead.
that celebration mindset in like, hey, I got to this milestone, let's take it easy for a while, and that they celebrate for too long, they enjoy it for too long, and then they lose the momentum that they had built up?
Absolutely. I know people right now I can think of in my life that have been on this amazing path and accomplished big things, but then they have this end game, and it's like they accomplished that one huge goal that they really wanted for a long time, but then once they do, they spend so long and they almost let that goal completely define who they are as a person. And they want everyone to know that they accomplished that thing, but the reason that they're so focused on it is because they're terrified of what's next, because they never planned any further than that one big, massive goal. And now that they accomplished it, they're terrified because they're worried that they don't know what's next. They don't have a clear and precise vision. And so it's important to regularly remind ourselves of our vision, review it, and add to it as time goes, because we're all growing. We're these amazing human beings who are growing. If you're not growing, I feel terribly sorry for you, because growth is my addiction. When I'm growing as a person, I feel so incredible, and it's so important to continuously improve our vision, add to it, add bigger, better things, because we always want to be growing and leveling up.
Amen. Amen. I love it. And what about the people who feel like they're not ready to put in that next step of their vision, or they don't know what's next? Like, how do you encourage them to keep dreaming and to keep building onto the vision?
I would say that stems from a lot of fear. And we all experience fear. I personally experience a ton of fear all the time. And I've learned to walk alongside my fear and use it as a powerful tool to actually guide me to the things that I should do. And so what I would tell those people is that you will never actually feel ready. When I'm standing, getting ready to go on stage to speak in front of 800 people, I don't ever feel ready. I just force myself, and when I get up there, I start having fun, and I love it, and I feed off the energy from the audience. But you will never 100% feel ready, and if you do, your goals are too small. And so what I would say to those people is, be conscious of what areas of your life cause you fear, because those will act like a compass to guide you in certain directions that you might want to explore. Wow. And once you're willing to dip your toe in and then eventually just jump right into those areas, you're going to really notice where you want to go next and where you need to go next. Whereas if you stay on the sidelines, you'll continue to be confused about what's next for you and what's that next step.
Wow. So be on the court, don't be in the stands, be playing the game. Don't let your fear stop you from taking steps forward, and stay in the game, stay focused.
And then if you want to take it one step further, actively pursue doing things that scare you on a regular basis. So the more often that we practice doing the small things that make us feel really uncomfortable, the more prepared we are when the big fearful things happen, to not react, but to be able to consciously decide how to move forward when we're in the midst of a storm.
Wow. Yeah. I love it. Perfect. So how do people continue to develop this laser vision?
Well, what I realized is that we've been talking about vision, but we haven't actually spoken once yet about laser vision.
Laser! Let's go laser on this. Awesome.
So, what the heck is laser vision? Laser vision is when you are so incredibly focused on your vision and your goals that you don't notice anything else that's going on around you. It's the sweet spot. It is the tunnel vision. It is when you are so completely on fire and in the zone that there is no ifs, ands, or buts. You already know that you're going to accomplish exactly what you set out to do, that you just have to put in the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears, but you've already seen it happen so many times that it's already written in history, and you physically just have to do it. And it's not easy to get into that zone, but where it comes from is the daily practice of everything we spoke about for the last half an hour. So continuously writing down your vision and reading that story to yourself and visualizing it in your quiet times by yourself, and programming your brain to believe in the things that you set out to do. And you become so sold yourself that vision is already written in history and it's coming for you, that you start to get so clear and focused in attracting the things that you want that it's literally like a laser beam that could burn through glass. It is the most intense feeling. It is the most incredible feeling, and it is completely possible for absolutely all of us to feel. And the more we can practice, the more frequently we can feel these things towards what we want in our lives, towards our goals.
How do people know for sure if they are in and have laser vision?
It's almost like you're channeling something from outside of yourself. So I'll give you guys an example. When I was in door-to-door sales, we obviously could only work during the hours when it was light outside. And at the end of the night, our boss would come around to pick up 12 of us in a big van, and he would call us about an hour beforehand and let us know the order of who was getting picked up when. And that was our cue, where we would have an hour left to do as many sales as we could. And believe it or not, sometimes in that last hour of the day, I would actually almost every day, I would do anywhere between 10 and 30 more sales. And that might be more than I had done for the other 10 hours of the day.
Wow.
And that was when I would get in the zone. And when I would get picked up and I would sit in the car, I would think to myself, what just happened? I was so focused and so in the zone about a specific number that I needed to hit that day to win, that it was like the whole world just took over. You know, when you're driving and you're so in the zone of thinking that half an hour later you're like, oh my God, I'm driving.
I'm here.
But it's when you're so focused on one thing that you don't let the worries and anxiety and stress and fear get in the way. You just know what you have to accomplish and you do it.
Wow. So that's how you know, ladies and gentlemen, you will be in the zone. It'll feel like something outside of you just came through and just took over your body and got you there.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And, you know, if everyone could get in control of their lives to actually be able to feel that way, I'm pretty sure drugs and alcohol wouldn't even need to exist because it's so much better high than any artificial substance could ever give you to feel that happy and proud of yourself and just in the zone.
Dang. So the whole world needs to know this is basically what you're saying.
Vision is everything.
Wow. Awesome. So what else? Is there anything else that we need to know about laser vision?
I think we've covered most of the most important topics.
Cool.
I don't know if anyone out there has any questions in particular.
Beautiful. So we are into question and answer, and I will definitely be coming up with some questions. So be on your toes because I'm gonna throw some curveballs at you. No, I'm just kidding. So if you have any questions out there, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to ask them while Lindsay's here because she's here to ask and answer your questions. We have Cameron Phillips who says door-to-door sales is what lit a fire under me 12 years ago, so that's awesome. Sandra Lorardi said, just do something. Don't be a flat squirrel. You know what happens to an indecisive squirrel. It gets flattened.
Oh, my God.
That's
poor
awesome.
squirrel.
And then we have Ruzidi. I don't know how to say that name. Progress is the key to happiness. And he said, fight what you are afraid of. Spend time in nature. I like that. Monsters don't live under your bed. They live under your head, Cameron Phillips says. And
that's so smart.
we have
That's
a lot of good stuff here. This is awesome. You guys are rocking it out there. There's like, I can't even keep up with the comments. It's crazy. So, Lindsay, what I want to know is what was your biggest challenge in developing a framework around teaching people this laser vision? Like what was the challenge in being able to communicate it to people so that they could understand it themselves? Because you got it intuitively, but what was your challenge in expressing that to them?
You know, I'm so passionate about speaking about vision that I had an idea one day pop into my head to create a course about it where they could actually start writing things down prompted by my own questions so that they wouldn't have to just come up with it out of the blue. And I sat down. In about 2 hours, I made the entire course because I was so amped up about it. And I didn't face any huge challenges with actually coaching people on this because it is a very simple concept. But as simple as it is, we're still hesitant as human beings to actually do it. And that is the biggest challenge because people love to talk about what they want to accomplish. They love to talk to other people about it and express their feelings and emotions behind it. But then when they're by themselves in private, actually taking the necessary steps to do the things that we know will help us the most, that can be the biggest challenge, especially when you're not high on top of the world. There's a lot of different positions in the spectrum. You could be low, medium, high, or anywhere along there. And some positions are easier to convince ourselves to do things because you already feel good, so you want to keep fueling the fire by adding more wood. But when it's burning really low, sometimes you can't actually visualize those huge flames. And so I would say the biggest challenge is just getting people to take the first few steps to actually challenge themselves. And no matter how easy it is and simple it is, so many people would rather come home after work and turn on the TV than sit by themselves in their bedroom with a piece of paper and a pen writing down what they want. And then they're quick to complain about not having the things that they want in their lives. And they're excited to talk about the things that they do want. But are you willing to do the work? That's the question. Are you willing to do the dirty work, whether it's simple or hard, or anywhere in between? Are you willing to take those first couple steps?
So I'm curious, what do you say to people who say, I'm willing to do the work, and they tell themselves that, and they tell everybody that, they tell their coach that, and they quote-unquote have the vision, but they still aren't taking the steps?
Well, that's my job as their coach to kick them in the ass and light that fire underneath them.
Yes.
But throughout the time that I've been working with people, I've become more and more selective with who I'll actually work with. And I spend more time getting to know people before I decide to work with them, because it's so important to align ourselves with people who do inspire us to take that action. And if you have to drag someone along with you and they don't want to do it for themselves, and you want it more for them than they want it for themselves, that's a problem. And so right from the beginning, I really establish a relationship with people where they're willing to hear what they need to hear. I'm a very nice, sweet person. And so it was a big learning process for me to not have to walk on eggshells around people, but to be able to tell them what they need to hear, because that's your job as a coach. You can't just be another person in their lives that tell them all the things they want to hear, because they'll never grow. They'll never take action. So for me, I will tell people what they need to hear in the sweetest way possible, but still give them a big kick in the ass.
Wow. And let's say someone isn't yet ready to hire a coach, or they can't afford it or whatever, but they really, really want to take the next step. What do you say to them?
There's so much free information on the internet. And I often think that if people actually had the drive and discipline to continuously educate themselves, that they could be one of the smartest, most successful people in the world. But the reason that you would hire a coach is because most of the coaches that I know, myself included, have spent the time and money to do a ton of courses. They're continuously reading, watching videos, going to seminars, and trying to learn and grow as much as possible so that they can serve others. Now, hiring a coach is like a shortcut because they are giving you the cliff notes. Do you guys have cliff notes in the States?
We absolutely do.
Okay, so you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know if they exist anymore, but it's a short form version of all the most important points in the book. And so you don't have to go read the 27 books that I've read this year. I can just teach you all the most relevant things to your life and what you're working on. But if you can't afford to hire a coach right now, you just got to go out and read those 27 books for yourself. You know what I mean? You got to go on YouTube and watch hours of whoever you look up to, whether it's Ty Lopez or Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins or any of these amazing guys, Gary Vee, who have a ton of free videos on YouTube, and then start implementing small steps that you learn from those videos, and soon enough you will have enough money to hire a coach, and they'll take you to that next level.
Yes. Just don't give up and don't lose sight of the vision.
And also, the great thing is that most coaches have free content that they're willing to share with you so that you can get a taste of what they offer, so that you can get an idea of whether you guys would be a good fit for working together.
Yeah.
Whether it's a free discovery call or maybe a small free course, most of the coaches that I know offer something like that because it is a big commitment that you're making both to yourself and to them. And you want to make sure it's a good fit for both of you so that you can really enjoy working together and really just kill it.
Wow. I love it. I love it. I love it. And what can people expect when they work with you, Lindsay?
They can expect someone who is their biggest cheerleader, but at the same exact time willing to tell them what needs to be heard and do whatever it takes to get them to where they need to go. And so I feel so blessed to be working with some of the most incredible people right now. I think a couple of you guys are on the stream watching. So I hope this brings a smile to your face because you know who you are. But you can expect from me someone who is going to do whatever it takes to help you along your journey and really cohesively work together as a team to get you to that next step. Someone who's never going to give up on you.
Yes. Beautiful.
And yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Positivity, energy, and fire.
Positivity, energy, and fire. Yeah, all day. So let's begin wrapping it up. What's the final call to action for people to walk away with this topic about laser vision, number one? The second one is where will we see you in the coming months and years? And the third one is what do people do now? So final takeaways.
So have a vision. A vision is so important, and the power that you put behind your vision will directly impact the results that you get and the speed at which it comes a reality. Get by yourself undistracted and write down the things that you want from your life, especially if you think you don't know what you want. Spend as long as it takes until there's pen ink on that paper and write it down, guys, because once it's down there on paper, you are inviting the universe to make it happen. And I will warn you that sometimes when you step up your game to a whole new level and you ask for big things, you will be tested. So keep that in mind and don't give up if challenges come, because that's your test to see if you really deserve the things that you ask for. Where am I going to be in the coming months? If you're in the Toronto area, I'm super excited. On the 26th of June, I'll be speaking in Niagara Falls at the Hard Rock Cafe for Mo Mondays.
Wow.
And later in the summer, I'll be announcing a couple other dates in the States. So keep an eye out for that. I don't want to mention it just yet because dates aren't confirmed yet. But I also want to invite you guys. I'm doing a few live webinars on, I'll post the link through my Facebook.
Sweet.
But definitely check it out because I've created a free training that goes even further on this topic of vision, as well as productivity and mindset and goal setting and stuff like that. I wanted to be able to provide a free resource for people who aren't quite ready to start coaching yet or don't know if it's a right fit for them, so they can get an idea of who I am and what I have to offer them. So I believe that you have my website on there posted in the red bar, so you can find that on there. And what to do now, get taking action, guys.
Boom!
Get taking action. Get creating your vision, organizing your goals into the highest priority, medium, and low, and get working on that high priority list right away. And I did, if it's okay with you, I just wanted to mention to you guys, in mid-July, I'm going to be launching a brand new course.
Woo.
It is called the Ultimate Success Blueprint Program.
Nice.
And I created this course because when I started my journey of creating a business, I had to go in a million different places to get the information that I needed in order to start creating a successful online business. It cost me a whole ton of money to get this information and a lot of time. And it was a big frustration point for me in my life because I wanted to find one place where I could get everything I needed. And so I created this course for anyone who was like I was a year ago, where all the information you need for creating your own online business is in one place. So if you want any information about that, contact me, but I will be posting quite a bit about it over the next month. So I'm super excited for that. And that's what you should do now as well. Take action.
And connect with you on social media. Where can they do that? What do they search for?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook or Instagram under The Lifestyle Millionaire. And I would absolutely love to connect with you. So send me a message and let's chat. And I'd love to hear about what your vision is.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Lindsay Adamson, you are a superstar. You're burning it up. And the advice and wisdom that you shared on here was so practical and powerful. And thank you for sharing your journey with us and being someone who helps people ignite that vision to living into their greatest possible self. And thank you for coming on here today. Really, really appreciate it. And we look forward to having you back on very soon.
I have one quick surprise for you. It will be very short, but one thing that I never told you about myself is that I'm a singer, so I wanted to sing you happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, yay!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Oh my gosh! Woohoo! I got sung
Have
happy
the best
birthday to him
day
on my
ever.
birthday. It is the best freaking day ever. You rock, Lindsay. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. You're awesome.
Well, thank you very much. And hey to all of you guys, thanks for watching.
Yes, everyone out there, take action. Go freaking follow Lindsay. Go to her website, thelifestylemillionaire.com. Follow her on Facebook and Instagram, and be on the lookout for her webinars and course coming up. Lindsay, you have the best day ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. See ya.